Mom life is beautiful, but let's be honest, it can also feel nonstop, overwhelming, and exhausting. If you've been feeling like you're running on empty, this video is for you. I'm sharing 10 healthy habits that have helped me feel more grounded, energized, and happier, even in the middle of busy mom life. These aren't complicated or Pinterest perfect routines, just simple, realistic habits that can make a big difference in how you feel each day. Let's jump into it. First habit that I want to mention is planning and prepping simple, nourishing meals. Have a few healthy go-to meals or snacks on hand so you're not running on cookies and leftovers. Think overnight oats, smoothies, veggie-loaded pastas. There's so many different options online, and there's so many people who are making a lot of these content that you can find for free. So take advantage and look those up and use them at your disposal. I like using mainly Pinterest for this. I have a Pinterest board of healthy meal ideas for breakfast, for dinners, for lunches. I also follow several different creators on Instagram, on Facebook for their recipes. But for the most part, I really use Pinterest for this because I find the user experience much easier, because on Pinterest you have like the actual recipe written down, and I find this much easier to navigate while I'm actually cooking than looking at the video and trying to replicate what they're doing. On Pinterest, you also have the exact measurements, how many of what you actually need of ingredients, because sometimes in reels or in videos they don't give specific measurements either. And also on Pinterest, you can organize it as easily as possible for you. So when I have, for example, something for breakfast, I can put them all together. Something for lunch, I can put them all together. Some snacks, I can put them all together, and it's so much easier to navigate and to find the recipes that you want to cook on the day when you go on Pinterest. You can just type a keyword of, let's say, ham pasta salad, and I would just type ham or pasta salad, and then I would be able to find it immediately on my boards on Pinterest. I find it so helpful to have healthy meals on hand or healthy snacks on hand, because it's so much easier for me to make the right healthy decision rather than finding something when I'm peckish or when I'm hungry, and just finding something that's easiest and what's most convenient is usually not always the healthiest. So having prepped meals or prepped snacks always help me to make it easier on myself to make the right, healthier decision. Getting enough sleep is another habit you can hopefully do as a mom, because I know firsthand that sleep is sometimes non-existent, very much difficult, especially when you have younger kids, because if you have a baby, they go through regressions, they go through teething, they're sick, they have separation anxiety, name it. There's so many different kinds of things. When they're toddlers, they might be scared, they might have emotional regulation things where they just want you to be there and just snuggle with you until they fall asleep. So I know that it's always a little bit tricky when it comes to sleep for parents, and it's so easy to lose sleep in these early years as parents, and so all the more important is to keep an eye on it. Sleep deprivation can have short and long-term effects, including impaired cognitive function, impaired social functioning, chronic illnesses and diseases like diabetes, like hypertension, obesity, and increased risk of heart attack. Lastly, it's just difficult to become your best self when you're sleep deprived, when you're running on empty or low energy. So this is one of the things that we need to prioritize, especially as moms. The next is to start your day with positivity. During the course of the day, it's so easy for things to just happen without our control. There's just so many things that suddenly come last minute, or things that we didn't foresee, or things that didn't happen according to plan or according to what we expect. And these are things that just happen sometimes, and that's part of life. And therefore, it's great to start every day positively by doing things like meditation, maybe doing some movement, going for a walk, having a quick stretching exercise or a quick workout, doing meditation, reading, start listening to a podcast. There's just so many different options that you can use to start your day positively in a positive manner, so that when you start you're already in good spirits, start with something positive first thing. Getting myself ready for a day is a non-negotiable for me because I just find that it's so nice to just have myself feel a little bit more presentable to start the day. It also cues my brain so that I know that, okay, now that I'm ready, I have my clothes on, I have my hair a little bit done or my makeup on or whatever. It just cues my brain that now it's time to work. Now it's time to do things, get things done. You know, it's not time to go to sleep or be lazy or something like that, because when you just stay in your PJs, sometimes it cues your brain like, okay, now we put on our PJs, now it's time to relax, now it's time to sleep, now it's time to unwind. So it's great, especially when you work from home, I think, when you have this separation. So this is like a cue, a trigger in your brain that when you have your work clothes on, then it's time to work, and when you put on your PJs, it's time to relax. Moving your body regularly is something that is also a non-negotiable for me. So I try every day to get between 5 to 10,000 steps, and this is something that I like doing just for myself as a personal goal, because I find when I am able to have my 5 to 10k steps, I always just feel good. I feel like myself. I feel like not lethargic. I feel like I have some energy, and I feel like I am able to do the things that I need to do. Even if it's just going for a walk with a stroller, 10 minutes of stretching. Movement counts even if it's not technically a workout. Being able to move is also something that's just beneficial for our body, but it's also very beneficial for our mental health. If you've heard about these mental health walks, then you'll know there's just literally no disadvantage to doing this, aside from maybe that you will lose a little bit more time or that you will lose a little bit more energy. But it also has tons and tons of advantages. It's just a no-brainer to do it. Next is to create pockets of alone time. And alone time is something that comes very difficult sometimes for moms, and it's so difficult sometimes to find alone time, pockets of alone time where you're not actually working, because that's not really counted, I think, as an alone time, or that you're not doing chores. Well, sometimes when I'm just feeling overwhelmed and overstimulated with the kids, even just doing chores by myself feels like a nice alone time for me. But actually, it'll be great if you can have little pockets of alone time just for you. So for instance, like early in the morning, if you can go for a little walk, do a little bit of meditation and stuff like that. It's so great for your mental health. And if you have a few minutes at night in the evening to just reflect on the day, reflect on your goals and things like that, it's always so nice to be able to end your day like that. Next is getting outside, getting some fresh air, spending some time in nature. It's always so beneficial for both your physical and your mental health. It's such a mood booster when you go outside and get some sun in your skin, especially now that the weather is so much nicer, it's so much brighter, and there's sun actually shining right now. It's nice to go for a walk, even 5-10 minute walk in between like your calls or in your lunch break or something like that. Is something that you can totally do. You can even walk with the kids or sit outside while they're playing. It's a great way for you to be outside and just have some fresh air as well. Another habit that I start incorporating now, especially as a mom, is to do something that I love every single day. This is something that's not specifically needed to be for moms, but something that I love, especially now, because it's so easy to put all of your focus, all of your time, and all of your energy to your kids. We love our kids and we want what's best for them, so we try to put everything on them, but sometimes we need to leave some things for ourselves. Not actually sometimes. We should always leave something for ourselves, because if we're just putting 100% of everything on our children, that's such a nice motherly thing to do, but it doesn't help you, and in a long time it will not help your family either. So doing something that you love every day, even no matter how small, even if it's something that takes 2 minutes, will always help to make you feel a little bit more positive and a little bit more grateful every day. Regularly planning weekends is something that I love to do as well for our family, because especially when you work from Monday to Friday, you know, typical Monday to Friday and then the weekends off, it's so nice to have some things to look forward to, some little trips planned with the family, some little bonding time that you can do with your kids, with your husband. It doesn't even need to be anything fancy or anything that will cost a lot. Even just days out in the park, going to the playground that's nearby, going to your local library are things that are very small, and there's a lot of free things that you can do as well that your kids will just love doing together with you. Kids are pretty simple in that way, that they just want to spend time with us. They just want to do things with us. And even if you're at home, actually, kids don't really mind it that much, as much as you would think. It doesn't have to be that you need to go on a big trip to Disneyland or you need to go abroad or anything like that. It's just simple things like this that count so much for them, and these are going to be their core memories when they grow up. So I find it so sweet and so important to be able to spend time with them together with my husband, so we're all together for at least one of the 2 weekends. It's so difficult to be able to get everything that you want done during the week, so sometimes, you know, we have to do some chores in the weekends or do grocery shopping. But honestly, my toddler loves doing grocery shopping with us, so for her that's like a little activity already counted as well. So doing things like just small things of like going to the park and stuff are things that we love doing with our family in the weekends. And the last one is to take time to relax, because as moms, I know that it's difficult for us to relax sometimes, because there's always the never-ending list in our heads that we just it's always going down this list, you know. Once this thing is done, and then there's another thing that comes up, and then another thing that comes up, and it's just so easy to just get caught up in this never-ending list. So it's important that we take a time to breathe, take time to pause and reflect on what are the things that are actually going well, what are the things that maybe can improve, how far are we from our goals if we have any goals that we set, how can I get to these goals faster, what are my needle movers, what are the things that I want to see in the future, and how can I make that happen. All of these things that are actually very important for our long-term success, for our long-term goals. These are only things that can happen when we pause and when we breathe and when we take a second to step back. It's not going to happen while we're busy doing these 100 things, because we can't do all of those things while reflecting on important things like this. So take time to just sit down and think about these things, but also take time to actually relax and not think about anything else. Doom scroll, if you will. If it's something that helps you to relax, watch an episode or two or a movie with your husband or by yourself. Have some fun snacks to eat while you're at it. Just take some time to just shut off your brain for a little bit. Read a book. Something that I love doing is also listening to audiobooks. So sometimes I would, if I feel like I want to just turn my brain off for a little bit, but also still get things done, something that I learned is to put on my headphones and listen to an audiobook while I'm cleaning something or whatever. So I'm still taking things off my list, but I'm like, my brain is here. I'm not here cleaning the dishes. I'm here in the fantasy land of my audiobook. So it's just great to be able to do other things, but again, we don't need to keep constantly doing things 24/7. We need to take moments to relax and unwind. Having this unwinding time is also very important. This also is also productive. Keeping your brain for rest during the evening, having a consistent nighttime routine, having a reset routine, having a bedtime routine, doing skincare, enjoying a cup of tea or a warm beverage, journaling, reading, all these things cue in your brain that it's time to go to sleep now. Now it's time to let the day go, and tomorrow is a new day, and tomorrow you can tackle the rest of the things. But right now it's time to relax. So it's short routines that signal to your brain, okay, now it's time to unwind, it's time to slow down, and soon we're gonna go to bed. And it also helps if you're somebody who suffers with insomnia, you're somebody who needs help with getting sleep, because it helps to, remind your body that now it's time to go to sleep, we're going to sleep soon, and it's not time to keep trying to solve this problem that you've been trying to solve since 5 p.m. Sometimes you just need to let it go. And those are the 10 habits that have truly helped me to feel like myself, not just as a mom, but as a whole person. Remember, you don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Start small, give yourself grace, and build habits that fit your season. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more mom life content, and let me know in the comments, what healthy habits are you working on right now? Thanks so much for watching. I wish you a great rest of the week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!